A kid who comes to their parents and says, I'd like to create this value for you to get paid.
Like, these are lessons that really, if a kid or a teenager can learn this at a young age, it's going to serve them well for their entire career, no doubt.
Smart money parenting.
All right, everybody, welcome back to Smart Money Parenting. Thanks for listening, watching, viewing, and subscribing. We've got another great topic for you guys today. We're going to be talking about going the extra mile and customer service. Whether you are a small business owner as a parent, or your kids are starting their first business, or your family is having great or terrible experiences in customer service, that's the topic of today. How do you go the extra mile? And teaching your kids to go the extra mile is one of the most critical skills they can learn as a child to be successful in their future. Chad, how you doing, buddy?
I'm doing great. I think this is a great topic. Something I always teach our kids is that there's no traffic when you're going on the extra mile. Like, everyone gets to that finish line and does what's required. And yet they often don't take that time just to do the little extra. But the little extra is what makes the difference in almost anything that you do, whether it's sports or business or money management or, just doing things for other people. And as we're teaching kids to be smart with their money, going the extra mile in any way, shape, or form is going to set you apart from other kids.
That's right. It also makes you price insensitive when you've had an incredible customer experience.
That's true.
People are happy to pay a little bit more. That is smart money parenting at its core.
And if your kids are going to get a job where there are tips, like service tips, as a waiter or waitress, when I was dating my wife in college, she was a waitress. And like, if you're just a little extra courteous and responsive to the guest, you've been to a restaurant before, and the waiter or the waitress is just like smiley, good energy. They get to know you. You suddenly feel good about the experience. And then there's other times where they walk up and they're just like grumpy, in a bad mood. Like, what's your order? They don't even want to be at work. And as a customer, you can tell that. So smart money kids are definitely kids who recognize that your attitude and your effort really do matter.
Yeah, your tip doesn't go well when you ask for ketchup and they roll their eyes and they have to get up and do something.
It's true.
Yeah. We've all had the amazing experience with waiters and waitresses, and the really tough ones. And in fact, being in the service industry is one of the best things you can do as a kid. I was
agree.
in the service industry. I ran an entire drive-in movie theater when I was a kid. Like, the whole thing. He literally threw me the keys. I was doing the arcade. I was doing cleanup after the late night movies. I was doing the go-karts all day long. I was threading the projector. I was behind the vendor stand, getting people pretzels and popcorn and soda and candy and cleaning the bathrooms. And you learn a lot about how to treat people and how you want to treat people in the future by interacting with customers and serving them. We've all seen good and bad versions of this. And a kid who learns this stuff early is going to be set well apart from everybody else. It's a good
it's a great first job. Like, I worked at a place called Kookaroo Chicken. Kookaroo Chicken. When I say the name, my wife makes fun of me. She's like, "You and your Kookaroo Chicken job." But it wasn't fast food, but it wasn't like a sit down restaurant. You could go up and order your sandwiches or your chicken salad. And I just remember making the sandwiches for people and like doing the kitchen cleanup and all that stuff. And if we were lucky, we'd get a couple bucks tip, but it was all about like making the customer happy and making sure they had a good experience when they came to the restaurant. So it's like, smart money parents for sure are teaching their kids to go the extra mile and to recognize how businesses interact with their customers. And you just had a huge viral TikTok video, went viral. Why don't we talk about that experience? And maybe what it was like for your kids, and then maybe compare it to some great experiences with customer service for businesses. Why don't you share that story, Scott?
Yeah, I'm looking at it right now. I'm not on there too much, but I had a crazy experience with the local ice cream shop a couple days ago. And I had a conversation with the owner about a gift card that they didn't honor. Right? We bought it 6 months ago. It was like a $50 gift card. We get to the front. We got our 2-year-old. He's waiting. The gift card, they're running it 3 or 4 times, doesn't work. They smell like weed. It was like bad. And then they were like, we can't do anything about your gift card. Sorry. And we're like, well, is there something else you could do? Like, just trade it in or give us credit, or, it's not going to cost you much to do the gift card credit. And they're like, well, we'll call the owner. Call the owner. Owner's like, no, we're not going to honor that gift card.
Wow.
I bought the business halfway through last year, and all the old gift cards, we're not going to honor any of them.
Wow.
And
wow.
I had the conversation, put it together in a little video and posted it. And I think we struck a nerve, dude. I'm looking at it right now.
How many views is it at?
150,000 views.
Sheesh.
It's this one right here. 150,000 views in a day, 9,000 likes, 4,500 comments.
Everyone's weighing in.
Everyone's
weighing
pissed. And they're like,
Yeah.
give us the name of the business. Tell us we're going to give a million bad reviews. I'm like, no, that's not the point. We're not trying to bankrupt anybody, but I wanted to educate there's small business owners, and they're jumping in by the thousands right now, because I think we really struck a nerve. Like, the customer, it's not that the customer's always right. It's that the customer deserves to be treated with respect. And it's important to understand that when you serve a customer well or serve them poorly, they can either become a raving fan for you, or you'll lose them forever. And that could be a lifetime value. I mean, we would go to this ice cream stand, we would have gone 20 more times. Now we're not going to go anymore, because that was just dirty business, in my opinion.
Why do you think that's important to teach kids about these lessons, before they're even 18 years old? Why does that even matter for parents?
Because any job you're ever going to have, or any business you're ever going to start, requires great customer service.
It's true.
No business has ever started without a dollar being sold to a customer. So you have to understand that as a kid, whether you're doing gigs in the house for mom and dad, they're your first customer. If you think about it, if you're getting paid to do home gigs, they're your first customer. So a kid should be thinking about, how can I make mom and dad's life easier? How can I make things be more helpful to them? How can I add value in the home? The more they think that way, then all of a sudden your kids are going to start coming to you saying, hey dad, I got this movie we're going to this weekend. I need to make an extra $20. I'd like to do this, and this to pay for it. Let's go. Right? You kidding me? A kid who comes to their parents and says, I'd like to create this value for you to get paid.
You just gave me an idea, Scott. That's unlocking a lot of freedoms. If kids looked at it differently, not like this drudgery of chores or things like that, but if instead they said, how could I take some hassle off my parents or off my neighbor's life by doing some work for them and earning some money? Man, they could unlock a lot of freedom. It's like, what else do you want?
Yep.
You're helping me, you're coming to me to be valuable, going the extra mile. Like, these are lessons that really, if a kid or a teenager can learn this at a young age, it's going to serve them well for their entire career, no doubt.
And then think about the other side, a kid who's always going to mom and dad and saying, hey dad, I need $20. I'm going to the movies with my friends.
Right.
That's a bad customer experience. If you think about it, that's an entitled kid. That's a kid.
It's just gimme.
Yeah. And if you raise kids that way, then the bank of mom and dad is going to last well into their 20s and maybe even their 30s. They're going to expect you to cover credit cards and college and budgets, and they're going to expect you to help them with their first down payments. They're going to expect you to take care of their car well into their 20s. They're going to expect to have a room in your house for the next decade, right? That's why you've got, 2/3 of tweeners in their 20s are, but living back home for a while.
Right.
And, I remember when I was 18, I went off to college. We, set up got the scholarships, worked 4 jobs to cover as much as I could. My parents helped some, which was great, but there was a cap. But 2 weeks after I left, my room was gone. It was turned into a guest room. My trophies and medals and posters gone. The whole thing was completely transformed.
That's it. You were done.
I was out, man.
Your time was up.
I was excommunicated from the home, and I could visit, but it was no longer a place where I could live. And there was something actually freeing in that. It was like, now you're your own man. You're your own man. You are off into the world creating value, and it's on you. We're here to coach you, love you, guide you, not to provide for you. And that is it's a powerful thing parents can do for their kids to actually free them up.
Yeah, I think teaching them to go the extra mile is going to serve them no matter what they choose to do. Any career field that they're in, if you learn to make that extra effort at a young age, it's going to make a difference. Tell us about some of the experiences you've had that have been really good customer experiences.
I'll just show you the opposite end of the nightmare ice cream fiasco, right? So this was like 2 days ago. Well, yesterday, Sawyer, my 4-year-old, was starting baseball. So we had to go grab a helmet and a glove, and we go into Dick's Sporting Goods. And my wife had texted me the barcode that was 20% off because they had something big for the whole Little League that day. And we had to go in by the buzzer at 7 o'clock to get it. So we go in, he gets his glove, he gets his helmet, he's all excited. We get to the front, and the barcode on my text is blurry. So they're scanning it, and I'm starting to sweat. I'm like, not again.
Another problem.
Another problem. Well, the opposite happened. The guy goes, don't worry, I got you. Pulls out his drawer, finds the exact same barcode for 20% off. He knew the deal, scans it, gives us, we save an extra $20 or whatever. And it meant the world to me. I was like, man, you know what? You have no idea what I just went through yesterday. And this is amazing customer service. I'm going to tell everybody.
And how did that make you feel about the brand and the company, like after that experience?
Fantastic. I mean, we're going back there again, like immediately. The next time we need sporting equipment, we're going straight back to that actual location. For some reason, like, not just any Dick's, but like goods. We're going to go to that one because they were fantastic. And I even got a photo with the guy and Sawyer with his helmet on and his glove. I mean, it was awesome, right? And we're probably going to turn that into a video to showcase this is how it should be done. And so that's the thing, is you can either create raving fans or you can create a loss of a lifetime value of the customer, and that's a big deal, right? What about you? Do you have any family experiences that you can remember that were either incredible or terrible?
Well, yeah, I was just thinking about it. Like, even oftentimes in these service jobs, it is teenagers. Like, if you're at a restaurant and the waiter or the waitress is just really, really attentive. I remember a situation where there was a table nearby and it was a mom with multiple younger kids, and it was a restaurant that was a sit-down restaurant, and you could tell she was just having a hard time. Like, the kids were acting up and fussy, and it was kind of like a distraction or disruption to the whole restaurant. And the waitress, I would guess between 16 and 20 years old, assessed the situation. That was not her table that she was in charge of, but she quickly brought over like coloring pages, crayons, and like some bowls of mac and cheese to these kids. And I don't think they'd gotten their food yet. I don't even think they ordered that. She just saw the situation and what it was causing a disruption in the entire restaurant dining area, and said, what can I do to go the extra mile so that everyone in this restaurant is having a good experience at the same time? And she just basically took initiative. I think that's another thing that we talk about for smart money parents, is teaching your kids to take initiative. That's underlying in what we're saying, but completely changed the situation. The kids were calmed down. That mom was relieved. Everyone else could go back to having their meal and not dealing with kind of that crazy chaos in the middle of the restaurant. But to me, I was just like, man, that girl is going places in her future.
Yep.
For her to have the maturity as maybe like an 18-year-old, 17-year-old to assess the situation and say, what can I do to take initiative to really calm the situation down? Like, she didn't go ask a manager. It wasn't her table. She probably could have just said, well, it's not my job. But instead, she like went over there and just handled things like a pro. And I was like, man, I told my wife, I was like, that girl's got a bright future. Like, she gets it, basically.
Yeah. Yeah. I called my buddy Caleb, who last night, and we recorded another video about what would you do in this situation, the whole ice cream nightmare. And he owns a bunch of Dutch Bros coffee shops, right? He's got 650 employees in 13 locations now. He's been doing it for 18 years. And he just said, I would do the exact opposite, as in every way, shape, and form. He said, when I started my first location, we had 50 high school and college kids, and my whole goal with them was people first, product second, right? Put your people before the product, put your customer before anything else. He's like, I was there 24/7. I would take a 15-minute break for lunch, but if I saw the line getting too far backed up, I'd run over, because I would do anything to make sure that these customers had an amazing experience with us. They learn names, they're taking care of people, they're asking them how their day is going. He's like, anything we can possibly do. He's like, the moment that gift card wouldn't run, I would make sure that person gets whatever they need for free.
Yeah.
Right? Because that person's going to come back 100 more times.
And they're going to tell 50 to 100 people about how cool it was.
That's right. That's right. He's like, when we launched our coffee shop, we were giving away coffee for like a week to everybody. Wow. And we were trying to make sure everyone knows that, hey, we're here to serve the community. We give a lot. We help a lot. We want you to have the best experience humanly possible. And that's what sets apart the best companies from the limited mindset, scarcity, small businesses that don't make it. Like that's
right.
Treating your customers with care.
Take an initiative and go on the extra mile. So I think for parents who are listening, go to smartmoneyparenting.com, think about what questions you might have as a follow-up to this, but really thinking about how to teach kids to take initiative and to go the extra mile, no matter what kind of job they're doing, even if it's just like Scott said, the home gigs. Go the extra mile. Don't do half the job and try to get away with it. Go the extra mile, take initiative, and think about the ultimate experience that you're providing in any kind of work that you're doing.
Yeah, nailed it. And I think, it starts with home gigs. It starts with things in the home, and you can model for your kids what it means to serve people well. And any job you have, it doesn't matter if you're in customer service or tech, or you're in sales, or you're running the company. It doesn't matter which job you have. Everybody needs to be laser focused on giving great customer experience. That is really what makes companies great. And your kids can start at home, then they can move into the community, doing gigs for neighbors and people down the street, or your relatives, aunts and uncles. And their whole goal should be, how do I make this an incredible, pleasant experience? Do what I say I'm going to do, show up on time, say please and thank you, make it a frictionless experience for them to pay, make it just very, very simple and easy. And if something goes wrong, take care of it right away, right? Like I heard this quote the other day that great companies are built on the backs of problems well managed.
Well, that's a good one. I like it.
And what that really boils down to is, how do you handle issues that come up as an employee or as a company? And the better you handle them with your clients, the stronger you're going to be moving into the future. And it's one of the greatest practical skills a kid can learn, is going the extra mile, thinking about something from someone else's point of view, thinking about it in their shoes. How can I make this experience like I would want to experience it?
And not being short-sighted. Like if you're doing a home gig or a neighborhood community gig and you're doing some work and something goes wrong, don't think about just the moment. Think about the long-term relationship of the person you're doing the gig for, the client, the customer, the person who's paying the bills, basically. Like what's the right thing to do long-term? And if you could teach your kids to think like that, they're going to be light years ahead of their peers.
Yep. This lady didn't realize, and I think this is why the video's taken off, is this lady didn't realize that there's probably 100 more people with those gift cards like me.
Right.
She could literally 25 cents in ice cream, like would cover that, right? You know what I mean? And her labor is already taken care of. They're just giving out some cones, and you're taking care of these people who will come back over and over and over and tell everybody else. And that's the short-sightedness that we want to stay away from with our kids, because I think the more we can get them to think, go the extra mile,
right,
make sure that not your identity, but your motivation and drive should be helping the other person feel loved, feel cared for, and have a pleasant experience. Then it will happen over and over and over again. And so that's the goal for our kids.
And your kids will get raises, they'll get promotions, they'll get advanced opportunities, more responsibility, if they are the types of kids who show initiative and go the extra mile. That will show up eventually in their bank account if they're the type of person who learns to take initiative and go the extra mile. Like that's just a character trait of successful people. So if you're trying to teach your kids to be financially ready to succeed in the real world, by the time they leave the nest and get out of high school, like these are principles that you've got to start as young as possible. Start teaching them to go the extra mile.
Yep. And it doesn't have to be their first job. It should start in your house. So there you go. If you guys have questions and you want us to talk about something important to you that you want aired on the show, go to smartmoneyparenting.com. Ask us a question there. We would love to hear your story of good or bad customer service. Show it in the comments below wherever you're watching this, and share this with a friend. If you have somebody who needs to hear this, who's either running a business or trying to raise kids to be more thoughtful and go the extra mile, send this over to them, and we appreciate everything. Thanks, everybody.
Thanks, guys. Like and subscribe. Thanks for watching.
It takes more than money if you want to succeed. You gotta know what to do with it. You gotta take the lead. You gotta give them confidence. You gotta make them smart. If your kids are gonna thrive, now's the time to start. Smart money